Hello, this is Eugene from South Korea. I'm going to introduce the way of hair cutting. Famous singer like Eun-Woo from Astro. This haircut is considered to be very heavy look. So it's basically based on the graduation technique. I'm going to cut the side and the back first, and then connect it to the back and the top area so that you can create the look that exactly look like Eun-Woo-cha. Okay, let's start with the side. You first take a horizontal section. The guide for this section is normally to the area where the hairline is deeply inside, so that you can cover up where there has been a M-shaped problem, so that you can hide it from the top area by covering with the length of the hair. So now you take a vertical section. To keep the length, it's better to over-direct the baseline to the backward so that you can keep the length. Especially the front area, you have to keep the length because normally people's head is rounded. So you have to keep the length so that it can have enough length to keep the shape of the hair. To create more softer look, you might need to use the pointing technique instead of a blunt. Then it will sit more softly. Now I'm going to back to the back area. You take a V section because it's better to keep the back side and the nape area slim and keep the length at the top so that it will look like more volume at the back area. I'm still using the graduation technique to build up the weight on the bottom. I intentionally use a very low graduation at the bottom area because these days, even the guys have very long back nape like me. It was normally for ladies, but these days, because K-pop idols, they do have very long version of a nape area. So it's better to keep the length. So you need to lift it downwards so that you can keep the length on the bottom area. Now take a vertical section and then I'm going to pivoting the section to connect the back at the top area. As I told you, this cut is considered to be heavy, so I'm not going to lift up the hair too much to keep the length. Then I'm going to pivoting from the middle. As you can see the weight is a bit too heavy on the middle area. So you can use either deep pointing, like pointing very inside of the hair, or you can use the slicing technique, which takes out the weight, but still not losing the shape of the haircut. I'm connect the top and the side and back all together using the graduation technique again. Now I'm going to cut the fringe. Normally Korean idols, they take a parting, so it's better to keep the length maybe underneath of the eye, so that when you blow dry up like me, like volumizing the root area, it still needs to have some length. So you shouldn't cut the fringe too short. That's the main point. There is no specific way that defines the shape of the fringe hair, but in my personal experience, it's better to keep the center longer and bit rounded by the section goes away, so that when you create the floor, it should have enough length so that it can create the floor. So keep the middle longer than you think, maybe around your nose. And slightly round it. It can be square. So when you're cutting the front area, it's better to keep the length around here. If you cut this area too short, the connection between the side and the front will be very weird. Now slightly lifting up. Because if you keep the fringe like to one length, it will look very too heavy. So you need to have some lift. So then it can naturally reduce the weight. Now you need to have some sort of a layer by pointing out, but you need to bear in mind not to cut the very front area. Pivoting, not to cut this area. Especially this area is very rounded. You need to be more careful not to cut the bottom bit here. Pivoting again. About 100% of Korean clients need to use this because we have a lot of hair and very thick hair. It's got very regular arrangement. So then if you 100% put it down, then it depends on the type of the scissors. It can reduce to about 50 or 70 or 80% depending on the model. Mine is about 60%. So what I'm going to do is you have to lift up the scissors. So then you can texturize from top to the bottom. As you can see, it's going to get out. It just basically reduces the amount of the hair on a regular basis. Now from above the middle section, you have to lift up the hair. Maybe 1/3 of the section. If you take it too deep, then it's going to ruin the shape of the hair. So the basic knowledge of using the scissors, thinning scissors, is to take the 1/3 of the section. Say 1, 2, 3. So very end of third section. You can use the thinning scissors all over the area of the hair, but you need to bear in mind how much it takes out the hair. So if you take it out too much, then it's going to create the flying of the hair effect. So it's going to be harder for the clients to manage the hair. So you need to bear in mind that you have to use these scissors very carefully. This wig has a lot of hair, so I have to use these scissors a lot. But normally, normal people don't have this much hair, so you don't have to use this much. I'm going to show you the so-called slick hairstyling, where you straighten the most of the area and just create the volume on the very front area. So it's very simple and it's very widely used for Korean idols styling. Let me start with the straightening. Here I'm going to use the blow dryer to make it flat. So you can start with a very These Korean people don't really create too much volume of the top area. Only the front area they care about. So you basically just flat it down. No need to be volumized. You have to kill the volume here. You shouldn't have any volume on the side area. And you shouldn't touch the heat on the roots because I'm going to create the volume with the roll later on. If the heat touches the hair, then afterwards it's not going to adopt another heat. So you shouldn't touch the roots while you are using the iron. Only the end bits. Just make it straight. You need to make the angle of the ironing to the vertical to the bottom, the floor. I'm going to take a center section And as I told you, I was trying to create a very flat styling. Only the front area, like my hair. I'm just going to create the volume on the front area. And I'm going to show you at the next episode. As you can see, I'm trying to blow it down so that it can flat, make it stick on the skin. But considering the fact that Asian people have a very stubborn and very strong hair that sticks out, so it's really hard for us to find the man in Korea not to have any down perm. So I'm going to introduce how to down perm this hair at the next episode, and then show you how the down perm differentiates the look from now on. And also I'm going to do root perm on the front area. So by only drying the hair, we can also create a look that looks exactly the same as now without any blow dry skills. You take a diagonal section and you push the hair from back to the front and upwards, and breathe in. Now 3 seconds. And you have to make a flow from back to the forward. Now take diagonal section. You have the tension on the roll. And take the hit again. And leave it for 3 seconds. And now you create the volume. And again. Another diagonal section. Now back to the front again, and you have to lift it up. And you see the volume up here. You see the volume up here? As I told you before, Korean hair's side hair is really stubborn. So you have to flat it down by using very strong wax. So then it can stick on the skin, and then it will make your face slimmer, and also the sides. And as I told you, it's very flat, not too much volumized styling. You can just use the wax, just pointing the end of the hair. Just texturizing, not too dramatic styling. And next time, as I told you, I'm going to do down perm on the side area so that you don't really have to use a lot of products to make it flat. You can just dry your hair. And if you want to create like kind of more movements, then you can actually apply the wax on the middle area too. This is Korean typical called the dandy cut, and it's actually my first time to cut the wig from beginning to the end, so it was a little bit hectic, but I'm gonna get used to it. And as you can see, this side area, even if I tried really hard to make it flat, because of the strength of the hair, it still doesn't look very fit. So next episode, I'm going to use a dampen product so they can flat it down and show you how Korean people keep this kind of very neat styling on a daily basis. And I'm going to also do the roots palm on the front area. So just by blow drying the hair, you can still create the volume on the front area. And as the episode goes by, I'm going to show you Korean trendy haircut, color, palm, so that you can easily understand how it's been done. And if you have any questions, please comment on the bottom. And please try to click the bottom thumbs up and describe. Thank you.